Welcome to another episode of Founders on the Beat, where we sit down with founders to home in on the humans at the heart of technology and how they're solving real challenges for real people and communities. Today's episode, though, actually moves the focus away from people, instead honing in on our furry friends. Now, I'm sure a lot of people would agree with me when I say that pet care can be quite a handful, no matter how much love and attention we want to dedicate to our pets. Shockingly, though, almost a third of people aren't bringing their pets frequently enough to the vet due to misconceptions about their health. Now, this is where Dosty comes in. They've created an app that provides targeted and curated insights around pet care, meaning that owners don't actually have to spend countless hours going down Google rabbit holes. We discuss how they've developed their app to provide key information and insights on an individual level, transforming the world of pet care. I'm so excited to sit down with you today. You're Ayaz Ahmadov, the CEO and co-founder of Dosty. Like I said, I've actually been using this app. I have two very cheeky ginger cats who require a lot of love and care. And I know that pet care, there's a lot more than meets the eye. Um, so yeah, that actually leads me into my first question. I'm just going to get right into it. What was it that made you decide to launch Dosty? Because I know your background's in marketing, but what prompted you to take that leap, into tech specifically for pet care?
I'm a pet owner of three dogs. So three Labradors. They get very cheeky as well, like when you get three Labradors, always hungry, always energetic, always trying to do stuff, especially when you have a pack, that's a whole different dynamics and a whole different relation. So obviously during the pandemics, I was going out there, downloading different apps, seeing what is there out there in the market just to spend time with my dogs. And I realized that a lot of apps, great solutions. I'm not going to say anything, but they don't go further than a certain limit, right? And the relationship with your pet, for me, it's not a frame. Like you cannot really frame it. It's not just training, or it's not just vet, or it's not just something else. Actually, those are the avenues where we need help the least. Honestly speaking, are your cats trained? Probably not, right? Yeah, but you just love them. You feel them. You understand them, right? Like, and there are many of questions that you have every day that needs answering, but they're not very specific training questions or whatever, or healthcare questions. Sometimes it's just between the relationship between the two of the dogs, the way they lay down next to each other. You want to know what is happening, right? What are the dynamics? So, and we decided to create that kind of app, the app that will support you throughout the whole pet parenting journey, the app that will be able to answer the questions specifically about your pet. That's obviously work in progress, but we're already getting many positive signals. We have like 32,000 registered pets in our base. A lot of pets from United States, 41%. We are getting heavy in LATAM, and I'm really proud of that. And yeah, we have a lot of cats and dogs in Latin America, in Mexico, in Argentina, in Chile, in Venezuela, and Colombia as well. And we're growing. We just entered recently. It was in August. So yeah, and besides all these smart algorithms that are inside of the apps that calculate the probabilities and that tell you what's going to happen or what is happening now, we decided to introduce a community feature when users are able to ask questions from each other. So let's say I have three Labradors, I can type in any question, and all the Labrador owners in Dosty will receive my questions and will be able to answer, and it goes vice versa. So yeah, that was the biggest factor was having three dogs, understanding that the market is huge. I'm in marketing for 18 years, and that's one of the things that I noticed naturally. You always dig
Mm,
into the market, you use the products. Like designer, when you are a designer, you look at something from not only the user point of view, but also from a design point of view. Like the same
yeah.
thing goes to the products. And, when you're in marketing, you look at advertisement from the professional point of view, you look at the products from the professional point of view, identify opportunities, and off you go. So that's how Dosty started.
Yeah, it's like, wow, three dogs, that's a lot, first of all,
Yeah. And I
because,
got three children as well, three kids.
oh, wow. So it's like
Yeah.
a
So that's
whole
one
tribe.
crazy household, is it? Three kids and
Yeah,
three dogs.
well, I grew up one of five and we've always had cats. We've never had a dog, although my mum grew up with dogs, but it was always the line that, a dog is a big commitment. That was the thing.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
like
100%.
like you're taking on a lot more than you initially anticipate, especially as someone who's never really grown up with dogs, although I love them. But I was always told that line, like it's basically like looking after another child. There's a lot to it, it's a
Hmm.
big commitment. Um, and so obviously like cats are always perceived as, easier, lower maintenance. But I've also learned that's not necessarily the case. And I think it's like the reading I was doing, I was finding, I was digging into this a little, like a third of the cats and dogs that are in shelters, they're surrendered, which is actually really sad if you think about it. And I think a lot of the reason for that is, there's barriers to care, or pet owners realize that they can't facilitate the care. They just simply can't look after the animals the way they need to. And there's obviously like that feeling of being overwhelmed. And then you realize like, oh my God, like looking after this animal is a lot more than I initially anticipated. And it's the animal that suffers at the end of the day. So I think like, using the Dosty app, there were so many features on the app that are really cool because it was like digging below the surface of, not just the behavior, not just training the animals, not just taking them to the vets or whatever, but also like possible reasons that, unexpected things might come up, especially if you have multiple pets like I do as well and you do. So I find that really cool. And I know that, the knowledge empowerment is a big aspect of the app. Um, and helping owners not feel overwhelmed. And, I love that Reddit feature. Like in my head, I think of it as a Reddit feature where you can literally like ask a question about,
Yep.
a Labrador, for instance, and get a community response. And then you've also talked about like the UX. So I'm really curious to go into that a little bit as well. The design aspect. How have you designed Dosty to help pet owners navigate these aspects of pet care? It's such a niche area to be
Yeah.
designing for. It's not something that you typically find. So I'd love to dive into that a little bit and like, what you've learned, any surprises, any challenges.
Oh, so if you allow me, I will start from your first part where you said a great thing. Sometimes we as people take things that and they turn out to be more than we anticipated. So when you take a
Hmm.
little puppy or you take a little kitten, first 8 months are great, but once that thing grows, you realize that's something else that requires more. So the best case is you give it to shelter. The worst case you just let them go on the streets, and that's also a huge problem in a lot of countries, right? Actually, that's where Dosty really helps because our main job and what we're working on right now is we will be creating an array of user journeys, and those user journeys include not just the product features but also the whole design journey and the flow journey within the app. I will go one by one. So the product features will include the puppy journey, the grown-up journey, and the adult journey, the senior dog journey. So basically, when you're a puppy journey, you will be getting like weekly schedules, weekly to-do lists, weekly checklists, weekly insights on what is happening now. Like, there's a lot of sites that tell you that if you have an 8-month baby, that's what to anticipate. 9-month baby, this is what to anticipate. We're gonna do the same with dogs and cats. So 3-month-old kitten, that's what you have to anticipate. And if your kitten does this and that, that's not a problem. That's normal for the kitten his age. Same goes to the dog. Then once you reach the adulthood, they're going to be a separate set of journey, right? You're going to be more active within the chat, within the community. So app kind of gonna, feed you with content and all that. Once you reach the senior level, you are a puppy or a kitten owner once again, because everything starts anew. You have to change stuff. That's just like in people, right? We are kids, we are
Yeah.
adults, and then we're kids again. So that's how it goes with dogs. You have to take a different care about your cat and your dog once they get senior. So Dosty will be adjusting the routines, telling you what to lower. We will be more proactive per se. That's what I'm trying to say. In terms of the design, our chats unlocked a unique possibility for us. We analyzed about 27,000, 25,000 conversations within our chat, and we realized that we have 6 very clear pet parent personas in Dosty. Like some users who are always advice seeking, some users who are thinking they're on top of their business and they are the ones to lead, to give the advices all the time, so on and so forth.
Hmm.
So what we're gonna do, we're gonna we're going to adjust Dosty towards your persona type. So let's say we have a feature 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You will be seeing it in one order, like 4, 3, 5, 2, 1. I will be seeing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Chat will be talking to you in one specific tone, with me in the other specific tone. That way we perceive information in a better way. That way everything, the flow becomes logical to us. So we see things that we need most the first. We're going to do the recommendation system. So once you talk inside the chat, you type in some keywords. And if those keywords are valid for our database of knowledge, once you leave the chat, you're going to get the content about those topics specifically. So we are heavy on content, as you said. We do daily tips right now, and in the future that will turn out to be journeys. But right now it's daily tips across 10 most important categories. Then we have the library of about 3,000 something articles. We didn't upload all of them. We uploaded like 400. We're still working on uploading all. So that's all verified and certified. Yeah, and that's more we personalize it. I think the better your experience becomes, the better care you take of your dog or a cat, and the less are the chances that you want to give away to shelter or release it down in the streets. So at the end of the day, that's our goal. Man,
That's
can I tell you
actually,
something?
yeah.
I can't keep it. Like, I'm probably not supposed to be talking about it right now, but we are working on a great we are working on a great sub product inside Dosty. It's almost ready right now, and it will be it's a huge CSR engine, and that CSR
Okay.
engine, and if you have pet or you don't, you will be able to participate, and the whole goal of that engine is to direct food to shelters. Like every week, we will be donating tons of food all over the world into shelters for the
That's
dogs and the
amazing.
cats. Yeah, and you will have to do very simple thing, the thing that you do every single day, and it will be a lot of gamification involved. I'm not going to release everything, but in very near future, within the next 4 months, we're launching this feature. That's like a sub application, and I'm sure y'all gonna love it. Latin America is, by
Yeah,
the way,
that's,
one of the markets we definitely launching that thing at. That just gonna fly
yeah.
in Latin. That gonna
In
fly
in
there.
Latam, they love their dogs and cats. Like it's a very,
Uh,
I think the culture, I mean, there's
in
so many, I see so many like pet friendly areas, but I know there are a lot of shelters as well, and like obviously
shelters, a lot of
providing food.
strays, but the community attribution is top. Like Latam is one of the places in the world where community is the driver. It
Yeah.
stays with you. Even the Eastern, the Middle East and East, and you know it as well. So, that's the same thing. The communities
Yeah.
for us are very important because that's where we take our roots from. We are very close to the communities. And the whole idea behind Dosti is to give back to the community. And the one initiative that I'm talking about with you right now will be that testimony to that. Like that will be the flagship product that is all about helping the community, helping dogs, helping cats, helping shelters, and involving a lot of people. Like so that's gonna be very cool.
Yeah. That's incredible. I love that as well because you're not just empowering people on the individual level in terms of their own households, their own pet needs, but you're also doing it on the community-wide level, which
Yeah.
is where so many gaps are occurring. It's often
Yeah.
overlooked when you think of community service. It's like cleaning up the streets or, you know, helping those who are in need, etc. But pets, where are they remembered in the picture? So it's really nice, like it's really heartwarming to see that Dosty is taking them into account and actively contributing to such a worldwide challenge actually, because like I've seen my fair share of strays in India and the Middle East, here as well, and even in the UK and parts of Europe, you get issues
Yeah.
with that, and it's always broken my heart that so many of them get euthanized or just
Yeah.
suffer so much, and it's like the one
Unfortunately.
thing that shelters and even vets say like we need food, we need sustenance to provide for these animals. So that's an incredible initiative. And I also just
70,
wanted to
70,
start
75% of all the expenses for the shelters, they go to food. That's the
really,
biggest, yeah, that's the biggest expense. For on
yeah,
average, that's like 70% of all the expenses of the shelters make up the food, the food cost.
wow,
So by
wow,
donating food to shelters, we are actually enabling them to deploy that money into the healthcare, to deploy that money into the training, to the better adoption policies, insurance, and blah 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 blah. So yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like speaking from my own experience with the cats that I have, we changed their food to a much better quality food. And it is expensive, but for me and my partner, it's worth investing, every penny, it doesn't matter. But what we noticed, like their fur got so much nicer, their overall
Yeah.
health, their weight, everything. But it was just incredible seeing the change and seeing the negative effects of the old food that we didn't know. We simply did not know that certain food is actually not that great because I know from the regulatory side of things, there's not many checks and balances in place to make sure that the animals are
100%.
actually getting the nutrition that they need. But like their fur, that's the big thing. I was still like, whoa,
Yeah.
like their fur is so much nicer. So it's incredible. And I just wanted to circle back as well, like the tailoring that you're doing within the app. It's, not just the kind of content that each user is given based on their own preferences, but even like the tone, the way it's framed, the way it's presented, the order, the sequence of it. So it seems that you're really comprehensively designing for a very empowering, personalized experience, which is pretty cool. But you've got all this content and like all these different breeds to deal with because I don't know how many breeds of dog there are or how many breeds of cat there are. When I was
365 dogs and like more than 70 cats.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense because
That's
when
a
I was
lot.
registering on the app, I remember registering on the app and it's like, what breed of cat do you have? And then going through the list and like, I did not know there were so many breeds of cats. So how have you found that like consolidating so many different types, like archetypes, let's say, of animal, and then different types of owners as well? Like you've got the six personas and then all this content, and then like how is that in terms of structuring the
That's
workflow and the
actually the biggest challenging thing when you're building a super app. Like if we take back Dosty a year ago when we were just starting, a lot of people didn't believe in the whole idea. And I was talking to many people who I work with right now, who are interested in Dosty
Mhm.
right now, who want to partner us right now. But they were the ones like, yo, you won't be able to pull it through because there are so many things that you have to consider when you build this personalization model. And that's the toughness and the beauty of the concept that we are building. Because once it clicks, it delivers you the ultimate unbeatable experience. Like that's what you need, right? But as you said,
Yeah.
that's a very uh, precise work. And honestly speaking, the appearance of AI in our life actually very simplified it because you can do so much more operations in a minute than you used to,
Hmm.
like the research and correlations and model building becomes much quicker. So yeah, our main job is to basically connect. First of all, understand it's several phases. Phase number one, the current one, what we have now. Once you register, we understand your breed. We know your breed, and then we on the background we start comparing your breed standards to what you have right now. And we already feeding Dosty on the background that these are the deviations. Like you are lower on weight, that's what you have to tweak, and that this is the surgeries that you have, and blah 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 blah. So once you engage with Dosty, we consider that information constantly. Second, second phase of personalization, and we're gonna start it soon, is when we add your conversations, your context to it as
Hmm.
well. So everything you say, everything you click, everything you read will be added to that pool as well. So now we know who are you, what you are interested in, your basic knowledge, and all we have to do is draw the whole app in front of you, unveil everything that you may need, build a great suggesting system. That's very complicated, but it is very interesting as well. It is challenging. That's why it's interesting. That's not like science or that's not high scale math. It's pure logic, but it's just that it's a lot of logics to consider.
Yeah.
But even now, like we give you very nice advices. Like when you go to the chat and you ask for pet friendly beach around San Francisco, let's say, we will send you the list of all the places. That's the information we get from the GPT. But we also will tell you not to take your dog today, take her in a couple of days because it had a vaccine yesterday. So because it had a vaccine yesterday is something that we check before we give you the GPT answer, right? And if that checker says that the answer has to be changed, the answer will be changed considering that one. So that's the level of personalization, the first level of personalization that we have now. The next one obviously will be advising you what to take with you on the beach, considering your dog or your cat, and then you know what to be the caution of and stuff like that. So yeah, we're growing in that direction. Hopefully within next year time, you will have the fully personalized experience that feeds on your engagement with Dosty.
I'm like just hearing as well that, for instance, it can even, give you advice on location and activities that day
Yeah,
and take into account like, whether they've been vaccinated, whether, a sore paw or whatever. Like
yeah.
that's pretty incredible. I'm gonna say that
Mm,
that's actually really incredible that it's able to actively participate in the real world to that
mm,
degree. So it's literally into like it's super intuitive as well. It's not just incredibly personalized, it's
yeah.
very intuitive.
And that's what we want to increase as well, the level of that intuition that it has, the but knowing you, right, knowing what and
Yeah.
how to tell it to Zena, like how it
Yeah.
has to be framed, how it has to be put. And in November we're launching our B2B solutions as well, so there will be Dosty for business, and it
Okay.
starts with the vet clinic management systems. So it will have basically everything from reminders to vet AI, the AI that will be able to assist vets in their
Yeah.
symptomatics and stuff. And once those two are connected, B2C and B2B, that creates a loop where you can visit a vet, do everything that you have to do, and then receive everything on your phone within your profile. And Dosty will be considering that. So if vet wrote you a medicine and set a
Yeah.
reminder, like you have to take that medicine at 9 o'clock every morning, that's what you're going to be getting. You're going to be getting the reminder. And the next time you ask a chat a question, the chat will be considering the medicine that you're taking as well. So it's not just the vaccines, but also what vet told you. So you don't have to worry about that. You know what I mean? You just ask a question and we consider the details and then we
Yeah.
give you the tailored answer. So that's the whole point.
That's super cool because that was actually going to be one of my other questions. Like, how does this integrate, with vet care and all of that? Because right now, for instance, we have these little booklets that we have to take every vet visit, and it's very,
Yeah.
it's all paperwork. And I'm
Inconvenient, yeah.
always like when I've got a crying cat who's, trying to hide because I need to take them to
Yeah.
the vet. The last thing I want to think about is bringing
Booklet.
this little book, which I always forget, and then it's like, okay, I
Yeah,
have to write it down somewhere. So you're actually going to be able to integrate with the vet clinics.
100%. And you will have that book inside your phone now. Obviously, that's not official pet passport, but that's official
Yeah.
information that you have about your dog inside your phone. Besides that, if you are integrated with the clinic, every time
Hmm.
you go to symptom checker or you ask a health related question inside your chat, it will be saved in your log. So next time you go to your vet will be able to access your log and see that 5 days ago you asked the question about teeth, whatever. What was happening 5 days ago? Why did you ask that question? So it gives more
Whoa.
context, more details, and that's the next
Yeah.
level of personalization we're talking about. It's a lot
Yeah.
of technical work, you know. Yeah, it's a lot of work we got to do, but
I
but
can
that's where we're going.
I can imagine, but as like as someone who has a pet, and I'm pretty sure a lot of other pet owners, including yourself, can empathize with this. The administrative burden of pets, like this is something I did not anticipate as an adult looking after animals.
Yeah,
Keeping track of the dosage, keeping track of
yeah,
vet visits, deworming, vaccinations, all of that. Like it gets really complicated. And even when I go for my own doctor's visits, sometimes I'm like, can I remember all the information about my own health, let alone
yeah.
my cats, especially if you have
But
multiple animals, like every time going through that mental checklist, like, did I talk about this? Did I talk about the fact that they were sneezing a lot more? That kind of stuff. So it takes away like all that stress on the side and just makes it so much easier to show up as a pet owner. I think that's
100%.
that's your end goal, is what I'm
That's the
understanding.
goal. That's the 100%. That you just framed it in the best way. Our goal is to make sure that when you show up, You are so confident in your next step that nobody can hold you. It's when when you feel, whenever something happens to your child, right? You want to know the answer immediately. Like you can't see your child going through the pain. You can't see your
Yeah.
child. You feel like your child is wrong right now. And that feeling kills you, right? Even when your child
Yeah.
doesn't tell you stuff. But child can express his feelings. Dog and cat can't. But you feel them on the same level. Like sometimes you look at your dog, and you see that there is something wrong. Although there is no
Yeah.
visible signs of that, right? But you still see that there is something wrong. That's not the way she looks at me. That's not the way she breathes. That's not the way she lays down.
Yeah.
And you want to know the answer immediately. You want to know what is
Yeah.
happening now. And we have to be clear that a lot of things that we do with our pets is the guesswork, is what we believe is happening, and our actions, because they can't tell us things. So our job
No.
at Dosty is to make sure that you minimize that guesswork, that you show up very confident, that you know that there are only two options. There's no like,
Hmm.
you go online, you go, my dog itching, you're going to get 15, 20 different possibilities. Why is it itching? But we want to make sure that you know that there are only two choices, like this and that. So, okay, what it is, you read, you get the information, you're fully aware, and you make a decision. That's it.
Yeah.
That's the whole thing. That's where we're trying to get. Exactly. Take away the guesswork from our relationship with the pets.
Yeah.
Leave
And
only love and emotions.
yeah, only love and fun. Yeah, because, it's something like I had an experience earlier this year that, one of my cats had to have her teeth removed, which is quite a big undertaking. But we had no idea that the gingivitis had gotten to that stage. And so many pets just suffer in silence, even if they're not
Yep.
showing any active symptoms. So you're
Yep.
not even able to do the guesswork in that sense. And what I find really cool about Dosty as well is that it's able to flag those underlying potential issues that you might not even have thought of, like your pet's weight, or, they might look a little chunky to you, but in reality, for the breed, they might not actually be in the healthiest weight.
100%.
Um, because it's able to connect those dots. And I imagine that that's going to get even better in terms of
Yep.
intuitively picking up on those red flags that we might not see. So pets
What we're
don't
gonna
have to
do,
suffer in silence.
yeah, I'm sorry for interrupting, but what we're gonna do is
No.
actually, you actually touched upon a great point, and that's one of the things that we are working on right now. So basically, we have 5,500 entries in our symptom checker from like more than 50 countries. We analyzed those entries, and we realized
Hmm.
that there is a hidden pattern there. Not all the symptoms have to be treated as a standalone problems. So let's say if my dog is itching 2 days ago, and then today it starts vomiting, that not may not be two separate things. That may be a part of one process, right? So what we want to do, we want to build our assistant in a way that it will identify those hidden processes and tell you, hey, look, 1 week ago you reported the head shaking, today you're
Hmm.
reporting itching. So this is not two separate things. This is the part of a flu, for example. So make sure that you give your dog or a cat this and this and this to prevent from that. Note, if in 3 days your cat or dog starts vomiting, that means it's definitely this. Take your dog or cat to the vet immediately. So predictive modeling, right? So not letting you treat symptoms as standalone, but rather look at them at the whole picture. So that's the level of the advice we would like to give to our pet parents as well. And for that, we are currently looking. We're exploring the opportunities of partnering the several vet institutions, very famous vet institutions, global vet institutions. We would like to co-develop all these algorithms together with
Amazing.
them. Yeah, so
Yeah.
it's not going to be just the predictive modeling based on the data that we have, but also the predictive modeling based on the scientific and academic research. So,
Wow.
yeah, to make sure that we really empower the pet parents, and we will implement the same logic in our B2B assistant as well for the vets. So vets will be relying not only on digits that we provide them, but also the science behind that all coming from the big institution. So there are many ways we working on
Yeah.
right now, and many different directions. Hope that all turns out to be good.
Yeah, hopefully. I imagine it will. And that's that's something that's so important in terms of anything health, like whether it's for yourself or whether it's for
Yeah,
your animal, whatever. That voice of authority, like being able to turn to insights, that are verified, that are
yeah,
actually expert based. Obviously, there's like in research, there's always primary research, which is like the raw data that you get from in the field, which is,
yeah,
from your users, etc. But then there's also the secondary research. Like you said, there's academic, there's health, secondary global wide communities of experts
yeah,
that might have anecdotes, might have insights, might have done, papers into particular diseases or whatever, and then accumulating all that knowledge. I think that gives like a much fuller picture, much more complete picture of knowledge. And I know that as a pet owner, I wouldn't just take any advice that's given to me, I wouldn't just take and be like, okay, this is legitimate. I'd want to know, is this actually legitimate? Is it
yeah,
verified? Who's it coming from?
yeah,
Who's the voice of
100%,
authority here? So that's
100%.
that's really amazing. Um,
And can you imagine if one day you're experiencing, God forbid, but one of your cats experience some sort of a problem, and then Dosty will automatically tell you, look, don't worry about it. 70% of all the same breed owners reported that same problem, and that's how they reported handling it. So now you also have the context that is
mhm.
actual real life cases, and then you can check them out as
Yeah,
well, right? So there's not only the medical side, like the protocol side, but there's always a natural side, like our grandmas and
yeah,
stuff running around with all this old school kind of treats and
yeah,
everything. Like you don't you don't know what it is, but that works, yeah, like chicken
yeah,
soups and stuff, right? Like when you
yeah,
have flu. Yeah, so the same thing. So and you get a lot of that knowledge in people, right? People share a lot of that knowledge. It's not always medicine, it's not always drugs, it's not always that. It's also some things that are natural and that
yeah,
we use. So now again, that's your choice. You will be fully aware. You can take the the way that 60% of same pet owners took, or you can take a medical, absolutely right protocol way. Again, you are showing up very confident because you know both ways.
yeah.
Yeah,
I I've spoken about this with someone else, about the whole idea of personalization and, transforming, giving the best digital experience. And what he said was people don't necessarily just want personalization, they also want choice. So I think you're
100%.
giving that there, where you have that anecdote from other people, but then you also have like the medical knowledge to turn
Yeah,
to, and
yeah,
that empowers you to take steps accordingly. Like there's nothing worse, you've probably had this experience as well with yourself, like Dr. Google.
mhm,
Everyone talks about this,
yeah,
where it's like
yeah,
you've got a weird bruise or whatever, and it's like, oh my God, it's cancer. That's
yeah, yeah,
that's a
yeah, yeah,
conclusion that you can. It's a slippery slope into extreme paranoia and extreme stress. So I
yeah.
feel like as well, the approach that Dosty takes saves so much of that mental and emotional energy and prevents that freak out moment from happening, especially when you can't talk to your animal and they're just sitting there like, you
Yeah,
know,
look at you making up stuff for them. Like, oh my God, sweetie, you feel bad. No, I'm just chilling. I'm
yeah,
looking at there's nothing bad
yeah,
for
exactly.
you. Yeah. And you touched upon the very, very great stuff. Like we as people, right? And we as users, we don't want to be managed. We want to be guided. Like I don't want
Yeah.
somebody to manage me, right? I don't need my app managing me, man. Like that has to work other way around. But uh, but I really want to be guided. I want to be given the right choices. I want to
Yeah,
limit, as you said, you show a bruise to Google, Google gives you the all the way to cancer. I don't want that all the way to cancer. I want the number one and number two most probable ones. That's what I
yeah,
want. I don't need the hypothetic cancer kind of thing. But that, as you said, can turn me down, can kill me, and I can be all paranoid and stuff. But that's what we're trying to do, and then that's why at the beginning of the conversation I said we are nowhere near to be finished yet, right? Like what you're doing
mhm,
right now is still a test in progress, and more you use it, more you report mistakes or whatever that really helps us. And
yeah.
we really appreciate the feedback of the users. By the way, we're working on a huge feedback engine as well, so you will be able to
Okay,
send feedback from every single step of the app. Like you will be able
very
to
cool.
report problems. Yeah, obviously that's technology problems come out, right? That's algorithms. They're not connected by emotions, they're connected by rules, and sometimes you do something wrong. That's normal. But yeah, within next half a year, we're gonna redesign it completely. It's gonna be more personalized. You're gonna feel it. There are gonna be more logics, more interconnections implemented. So yeah, hopefully no more quiet, silly faces of pet not knowing what to
Yeah.
do.
Or purpose, pointless vet visits. There's nothing worse than that.
100%. When you have to spend like $500 million on a vet visit, that like
Oh my
was,
God. Yeah. I
I know the
actually,
pain.
that's actually something else that when I was reading behind, what are the big problems in pet care, price is a big thing that people flag. Like these, vet prices are increasing, inflation is an issue. Things are just getting more expensive, and I think as well that scares a lot of people. That will scare a lot of people, especially when there's economic uncertainty. So having that knowledge to know when it's the time to take the pet to the vet, I think is so, so
I
important.
tell you one thing, yeah, my personal opinion, and I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings, but vet costs, I can understand. That person studied all his life. He paid for his education. He got the knowledge.
Yeah.
I understand that. I can't argue with doctors and vets. That's I perfectly see. We need vets. Nothing can ever replace a
Yeah.
doctor or a vet. If you have a problem and that is a problem, you will never go into the app because if you do, then probably there is something wrong with you as well. Because if you see but I mean that's true, right? Zena, I'm a father of three kids. And
Yeah.
you will be telling me that there is something wrong with me if my kid is lying down and hurt. And if I'm like inside Googling stuff, I'm supposed to take that kid to the doctor.
Yeah.
That what has to happen, right? And then I take it from there. And then I go and research. And then I go and do stuff. Same with
Yeah.
dogs. If I see my dog bleeding, I'm not going to be going into the app. I'm going to be going to the vet, right? But, but, all the other costs that we as pet parents generate, we have
Hmm.
to stop a minute and then see where we're spending our money at right now, because we are the victims of all this advertisement that is telling us that our dogs love food with whatever, with some sort of a grass in it. No, they don't, honestly speaking, right? Like you've been telling me that they do, but they really don't. Like they are just fine eating whatever they've been eating. There are quality of foods, obviously, like, but once you reach the certain quality food, there is nothing outperforming that. It's just an extra cost, just like in human beings, right? They give you like, okay, this is the meat and it costs that much, but this meat been aged for 500 years and it costs that much. Okay, you spent $2 million on the meat that been aged for 500 years and you don't really feel the difference, do you? Like, honestly speaking, maybe you do, but that's like, that's insignificant. That's not like,
Yeah.
whoa, man, I've been missing that all my life. No, it's not. Same thing for the dogs. You go and buy toys, but that okay, the ball is fine. You don't have to buy all this crazy. I'm not talking about me. I do that. I did that with my dogs. I swear to God, I was buying them like chocolate for dogs, whatever, chewing gum for dogs. And at one point, my wife was like, Why would you give your dog a chocolate for dog? Like, give her cheese. That's absolutely fine. That's the same reaction, right? Like,
Yeah.
why are we making our expensive grow and grow and grow and grow on unnecessary actions? And the reason I say that, because a lot of people give up their dogs and by saying that handling a dog is very expensive. No, it's not. You can have a dog on a budget. A lot of people do. And dogs are fine. And dogs live just fine. They need you as human being. They don't need all this luxury food. They need you as human being. That's all they need, right? And we create these costs, and then we go like, oh my God, that's so expensive to have a dog. Yes, it is, because but we are partially in fault of that. Yeah, so that's what I was trying to say. Like vets and all that, I agree. That's the official
Yeah.
cost. You have to have the cost. But when it
Yeah.
comes down to entertainment, treats, and toys, and then super comfortable bed for your dog, my man, why would you buy that? Like honestly, why would you go and spend like 600, $500 on a super comfortable bed? And the worst thing is when you wake up in the morning, you look at that bed, the bed is empty, dog is somewhere on the ground. You're like, oh my
Yeah.
God, man, I just bought you that bed. And that's from my personal
Yeah.
experience. I was so pissed off, right? I bought like an amazing bed for Matilda, all pink and all that, cushions and everything. Like it was like a queen size bed for my dog. I didn't have that kind of bed. My dog did. And Matilda was never sleeping there. Matilda was going out and sleeping like in the sand and the grass in my backyard. That's where she loved to sleep.
Classic.
Yeah, and my
That's a
bed was like
classic.
right. Yeah, and he would go my $300 spent on the bed on the floor right there. Like this is unnecessary, right? That's very unnecessary. So yeah, when it comes down to cost, we actually have to be a little bit aware of what is happening. I would rather advise people to share more time, to share more
Yeah.
love, than going out there and then buying all kind of crazy things.
Yeah, I mean, like in the cat world of things, well, at least I haven't seen people going so crazy with stuff, but there are loads of memes of like, people buying these extravagant cat towers because they need scratch and stuff, and then the cat
Cat
preferring a piece
castles.
of
Have you seen
cardboard.
one? Like a
Yeah, and
huge
then
castle where cat climbs and jumps all over the place.
yeah,
Oh my God, man. Like,
and then the cat ends up preferring the cardboard box that the castle came in. Like that's a
yeah, yeah,
classic. I think it's just
yeah,
become
yeah.
kind of the golden rule. I mean, yeah, like you said, it's all about balance. I think that's what I'm inferring from this. And also like you can create little monsters sometimes because sometimes these animals get used to that degree of pampering and it becomes like a snowball effect of creating a monster
100%.
where they expect certain things because animals do learn. They do learn
Yeah,
certain
100%.
habits.
100%.
So there's that side, I think, for the new pet owner who's, it could be their first time having a dog or whatever. Like certain things that you shouldn't be doing. Don't be giving them a plate at the table, otherwise they'll learn that they can jump up on the table and just eat from the
100%.
table. And you're gonna have a
100%.
big problem later on.
Yep.
Um, I actually know someone
Humanization.
who's, yeah,
Humanization of
humanization.
dogs is the big threat and mistake to your household. Like if you humanize your dog and that's a serious breed, you lose a respect. Even if that dog is trained, you're gonna have a
Mm,
soldier that doesn't respect you. Like you have a trained Rottweiler, but once every time you sit down to eat, that Rottweiler will put his head on a table right in front of your plate, and you will be able to do
yeah,
anything with it. It doesn't respect
yeah,
you. It can perfectly react to commands like sit or do whatever, but it just doesn't move his head.
yeah,
So, and you don't want to do
yeah.
that. 100%.
I
100%.
find like I've always understood that unlearning habits is much more difficult than learning a new habit.
Yeah, 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 yeah,
So
yeah.
once it's ingrained, I think the same for humans. Like when I'm doom
100%.
scrolling, the whole habit of that, like just quit the screen. The same with animals. Like if they learn that when humans sit down to eat, it's also their time to eat from the table. Big problem. Like they're not gonna forget that.
100%. Yeah, yeah, yeah. 100%. 100%. That's why I got Labradors. They're goofy and then they always kids. No aggression, zero. I love my dogs.
Yeah.
I really do.
Oh, that's nice. Like you said, that's the most important thing at the end of the day, the love.
Yeah,
Showing up to
100%.
love them the way that they need, the way that they're safe and respected and taken care of, they're not suffering silently. I think that's what most pet owners want at the end of the day, and I feel like Dosty is really facilitating that. I am excited to see how the app continues to grow because I know there have been some changes in recent months, at least since I joined the app.
Yeah, we did
So
one change and now we're changing it again. Yeah.
is it going to be like a big
It's
facelift?
gonna
And
be like everything you see visually right now is not gonna be there. The whole setup gonna change. The pet profile gonna change completely. Like you will be able to rate your dog, and we will be getting that for the contest as well. Like for example, let's say, or a cat, right? Sorry for
yeah,
being dog all the time.
no,
Let's say I got a Labrador, and there are standards, right? Like it's good with kids, it does this and does that, energy level that this. These are the standards, and then you're gonna be able to put your grades as well versus the standard. So the energy level of Labrador is 5 out of 5. Matilda is definitely 5 out of 5. Macho is couch potato, is 2 out of 5. Like he's not energized at all. Like so, and we will be considering your ratings as well whenever we give you the answer. So when you ask us a question about your dog, we will be considering the reality, not just the breed standard, but also
hmm
the real case. Like how did you rate your own dog? Because that helps to adjust the answer as well.
Super
that gives
cool.
even deeper personalization. So that whole thing gonna change. We're gonna change the pet profile. We're gonna change the whole main page, right? It's gonna be more user friendly. The colors, uh, right now it's a lot of different colors out there, but we're gonna structure that all in one seamless flow. And as I said, we've been around for a year and like 8 months now, yeah, and we've been around in many different countries, and we get feedback from many different countries. So guys in Latin
Hmm.
America want to see Dosty in one way, guys in Poland in the other, guys in the United States don't really care. So we you have to put that all together and get that medium point that will satisfy the majority. So that's what we're trying to do now.
That's super cool. I also have another question. Are you just gonna be sticking to cats and dogs? No other pet types?
I'm gonna say that, and once my team listens to it, they're gonna kill me. But I I always wanted to expand, do like the parrots and do like little house mouses. You know, the people have them
Yeah,
and
like
like
hamsters
snails and
and
yeah, the spiders and snakes and like all that guinea pigs and all that stuff. Um, once we teach our model, once we build our model on dogs and cats, having a snake will be much easier. There's not so much content about it, obviously, and having a one very good chat that can support your anaconda at home, I think will be enough for you, right? It's not like you're going to be sitting reading the articles or the ways how to train your snake. I don't think you're going to be doing that. So one good chat will work. But we're going to learn on cats and dogs how to put together that chat in a proper form, and then maybe, yeah, maybe why not do the parrots and then do like the different kind of lizards and stuff.
obviously like one step at a time, also to
100%.
appease your team for now.
Dogs
I do
and
have a
cats, we have so much to do.
yeah. I mean, and as well, I have no idea how much of, the pet care industry is comprised of dogs and cats, but I would bet that most of it is based around cats and dogs.
By far, by far, by far, like it's 1.5 billion dogs and cats living in homes all over
Yeah.
the world. And those are the registered ones. Just to give you an example, my dogs are not registered anywhere. Like that passport you've been
Okay.
talking about, I do the
Yeah.
vaccinations myself. I do the vaccinations, I give them the warmings, like I know the routine. So
Yeah.
whenever I want to take my dog to the vet, I just call vet to my house, and we don't put anything into the passport. I don't do it for the passport. I do it for myself. My dogs are in my
Yeah.
summer house with me. So they are not, hypothetically speaking, they are not counted in global statistics because there's no data about them anywhere, right? So there's
Yeah.
1.5 billion registered dogs and cats in the world. And
Yeah.
that's a lot.
That is a lot. Although I
That
will
is a
confess, when I was a kid, I was really curious about having a tarantula. Don't give me a hamster. I'm terrified of rodents. But
lot.
I was curious about having a tarantula. I think they're really cool
Yeah.
animals.
If
Although I
there
don't
will be
think
an
my
app
cats
that
would
tells you
appreciate
how
the
to do
milk.
it, you probably will have it, right?
Yeah.
If there, yeah, that same thing to me. Like if there will be an app that tells me how to have a tarantula, I probably have it. Maybe not. I'm scared of spiders, but like, uh, but I would take a chance. I would have a little snake.
Yeah. They're also really cool. Except you have to
Yeah,
feed
but
them
very
rodents, and
small
I
one.
think that's where I draw the line because I'm terrified of them. But yeah, it's just been amazing to hear about Dosty and how you're continuing to evolve and the ambitions that are there on the horizon to keep making the world a better place for pets who are like we talked about. They're so often overlooked. Sometimes they're suffering in silence. So I'm really excited to see how you continue growing. I have the app. I do have the app. So
Thank
I'm
you.
looking forward to those updates and hopefully being able to take better care of my crazy ginger cats who drive me up the wall sometimes. But I would take a
God
bullet for
bless them.
them. Yeah. Um, Thank you again, Ayaz, for joining
Thank
me
you.
today. It's been, yeah, a very eye-opening conversation. Just before we go, where can we learn more about Dosty? Where's the best place to find you?
Dosty.co, Dosty.co. The website will be will be changed as well within the next couple of
Oh,
months, but
really?
yeah, it will be like, it will reflect the whole infrastructure. Dosty for pet parents, Dosty for business, and our huge CSR engine, which also will be there. So yeah, Dosty.co is the best way to learn stuff about Dosty. I do the updates on my LinkedIn page, but the website I think is the best
Nice.
one.
Very
Yeah.
cool. Well, thank
Thank
you
you.
again. It was lovely
Thank you.
chatting with you. Yeah, I'll be letting you know how I get on with Dosty as well because I'm loving the app, but very
Cool.
excited to see
Cool.
what's in the future for you guys. Thank you so much for tuning into another episode of Founders on the Beat. Stay tuned for our next episode and don't forget to follow us for more updates.